What's up, Brew Crew? Opie here. Welcome back to the Jose the Neighbor Garden this time. So it's time to get the garlic planted. Actually, I'm about a week late, but considering everything that's been going on, better late than never. So let's take a look at what we got going on. So if you recall, last year at this time, I picked up a couple of pounds of some beautiful hardneck garlic. The variety is called Music, and I've been wanting to grow this stuff for years, and I finally went out and ordered some from an awesome website, got a great deal on it, and planted it. Well, the garlic harvest was a huge success, so I went ahead and saved all my biggest and best bulbs from the Music garlic harvest to plant again this fall, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. I've got probably 3 or 4 pounds here, so we should have double the harvest that we had last year, and I'll actually be able to share quite a bit out of this harvest. Unfortunately, I had to be a little bit stingy with this year's harvest, but the idea was to propagate and gain more garlic and end up with 2 or 4 times as much garlic as I planted originally. So we're halfway there. Next year's garlic harvest should be pretty epic. All right, guys, let's get this stuff in the ground. Actually, wait a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's talk a little bit more about this Music garlic. So the Music garlic is a hardneck variety, which is best suited for northern climates. So it's perfect here. I also happen to like the hardneck garlic varieties because before harvest, a few weeks before harvest, they put off a flower stalk that's known as a scape. And the scape is really what I consider the gardener's spoil. I mean, they are fantastic. They're really just a delicacy. They're great prepared in so many different ways. I like to make a garlic scape pesto, which is amazing, and it freezes so well, and it's so good. But the reason why we call this a hardneck garlic is, if I get some of this paper off of here, is you'll see that the stem actually goes all the way through the center of the cloves and ends at the base of the garlic. So let's just peel these cloves off of here and take a look. Now there's a perfect representation right there. You can see where the stem goes all the way through the garlic down to the base, and that's a hardneck garlic. Now softneck garlics, which are better suited for growing in the south, the stem doesn't actually go all the way through the cloves. It actually just kind of ends at the base. It's really not a hard stem at all. It's a soft stem, hence softneck garlic. So the stem is more flimsy, and it just kind of becomes the top of the garlic cloves. It doesn't actually go all the way through. Now you can grow softneck garlics in the north, and you can grow hardneck garlics in the south. They are somewhat interchangeable, but you'll just have better performance with the hardneck in the north and the softneck in the south. So just keep that in mind. If you really want an epic harvest, just be mindful of where you're at and what type of garlic you're actually planting. Now, as you can see, this Music garlic, this stuff is beautiful. It's got a wonderful flavor, and the cloves are absolutely massive. They're just huge. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this garlic. Very nice, mild flavor, big bulbs. So, and as you might know, the bigger the clove, the bigger the bulb next spring. So if that holds true, we are going to have an epic harvest of garlic next spring. Now, I'm planting all the garlic in the Jose the Neighbor Garden this year, because we don't have the Brew City Garden anymore. And if you recall, I planted just potatoes in the Jose the Neighbor Garden this year, and they did really well. So that leads me to believe that this garlic is going to do fantastic here. The Jose the Neighbor Garden is a partial sun, partial shade garden. But regardless, it's healthy. It's a lasagna garden made out of my used straw from the Brew City Garden. So anything I plant in here is gonna do well. So I'm pretty sure the garlic is gonna be the same story. So all right, now let's get this stuff in the ground. Now, as far as planting garlic goes, it's actually a really simple process. There's not a whole lot you need to think about here. You can space your cloves as close as about 3 inches, or as far as you'd like, really. That doesn't really matter. I've got quite a bit. Let's just dump this out. So that's quite a bit of garlic. There's probably 3 to 4 pounds of garlic here. I will go ahead and space my garlic probably about between 4 and 5 inches. And that should fill up probably maybe half of the Jose the Neighbor garden. And that'll leave us a little bit of room on the other end, probably to plant more potatoes again next spring, which I'm really looking forward to. But we got to get through this deathly winter once again. But that's all right. All right, guys. So as you can see, the Jose the Neighbor garden, it was about 4 feet tall yesterday, and I knocked a lot of this soil out of here, took it over to the secret garden, and really knocked this down. But as you can see, I've still got probably 10 to 12 inches of depth here. So there's a lot of really fertile growing medium here. So these are going to do great. Now, to plant these, typically garlic you want to plant at about 2 to 3 inches depth. But to be honest with you, you could plant these much deeper than that, and they'll do just fine. And I typically like to go a little bit deeper with my garlic just because the winters here get so incredibly harsh. Now, last year, we had temperatures of 60 below zero over the winter time, and I thought for sure the garlic wasn't going to make it. I thought it was going to die. But much to my surprise, it came up. It actually came up, and it did very well. So garlic is an extremely hardy, the hardneck garlic is an extremely hardy plant. So you don't really have to worry too much about it. So I'm actually going to plant these about 6 inches. Let me move these out of my way. So about 6 inches depth, about 5 inches apart, and I think that's going to work out really well for us. And I'm just going to leave them uncovered for now. That way I can keep track of where I've planted. This music garlic is just beautiful stuff. It really is. These cloves are just ginormous. They're huge. Really can't wait to see what we end up with early next summer. It's going to be great. Again, I'm not being super particular about spacing or anything. We're just getting it in the ground. It's going to do fine. No worries there. This garlic's going to be amazing. All right, guys, I'm going to keep going on this stuff. It's going to take a little while, but we'll get it in. All right, very cool. So we got all the garlic in the ground. It really didn't take that long, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now all I want to do is just come back and lightly cover it all up. You don't have to go crazy with this. Just cover it up. No big deal. It's going to be sitting here all winter long, so the soil's going to settle in over it. Just don't really want it totally exposed. And what's going to happen now is, while we haven't reached freezing temperatures yet, so the garlic is actually going to sprout in the fall, and it's going to start to grow. It's going to grow some tap roots, and which is fine. That's what we want. So it's going to kind of get established before the freeze sets in. And then once the freeze sets in, the garlic will go dormant. It will get the freeze hours that it needs to sprout, and then early next spring, literally the very first thing that will come up is going to be the garlic. And that's really all there is to it. Guys, garlic is super easy. If you're not planting it, go get some. It's as easy as going to the grocery store or an organic store or a farmer's market, pick up a few bulbs and throw them in the ground and forget about them. It's awesome. All right, guys, that's it. Super simple, easy peasy. The garlic's in the ground. Really, all we got to do is just forget about it. And literally, the first thing we'll see early next spring is those little sprouts peeking up out of the ground. Even when there's snow on the ground, you would be surprised. They are very cold hardy. They will come up and say hello first thing early in the spring. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for joining me here today at the Jose the Neighbor Garden as we get the garlic planted for fall. And hopefully it's going to be I'm sure it's going to be an awesome harvest next spring. Hey, guys, I really appreciate you being here. If you like what you see, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, hey, hit that subscribe button. We got all kinds of awesome things going on here at the Brew City Gardener channel. And with that being said, guys, I want you guys to have an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see ya.